I'm going to warn you up front. This Christmas tree is going to flash and it's going to be distracting. What can you do? St. Patrick's. The evening showing was held for Michelle Casey at St. Patrick's in Ringsend. There was a large group of people who attended. As Jackie looked around the church, a scene from her childhood flashed in her mind. Did you hear the one about the potato who died? And Michelle, in her late 20s, asked a 6-year-old Jackie. Did you hear the one about the potato who died? It's distracting me. And Michelle, in her late 20s, asked a 6-year-old Jackie. There was a big turn-up at his funeral. The look of her young mother's face made her smile, her mother's smile. Ah yes, that laugh, the warm hugs on those damp January mornings as Jackie would leave with her school bag on her back. The lips that kissed her forehead, the frame that carried this special woman's spirit around the world for several decades was now a body of broken bones, lying in a box in St. Patrick's Church in Ringsend. Sorry for your troubles, they said one by one as they moved from left to right, like items on a conveyor belt. Sorry for your troubles, sorry for your troubles, microwave oven, sorry for your troubles, cuddly toy, sorry for your troubles. But out they came, as they always did in Ringsend. When someone from the village died, whether you knew them or not, out you came to pay your respects. A woman she had never met before walked up to her and held her hand. The woman tried to get the words out, but grief overtook her. Jackie wondered who this woman was. Her mother had obviously known her, all the while flying under Jackie's radar. Jackie stood up and hugged her. Thanks for coming today. Jackie looked at Peter sitting to her left, who was in a daze. He looked ahead of him, at the hip level of people who came by, unable to make eye contact with them, but just about able to lift his right hand to shake theirs. The yacht was bursting with people afterwards. Put the tab on me, Dave, John Boy had instructed him. Peter sat in the corner as Jackie moved around greeting and thanking people. She had no energy to do this, but as Peter seemed incapacitated, she had no other choice. I've never seen a Christmas tree that blinks so much. If I could find I don't want to mess with the Christmas tree. Be strong for him, she heard her mother say. The voice was so clear she looked around to find her, but she was not to be found. How she longed to go across the street, turn on the kettle and see the face one more time. On the following morning, after leaving the funeral mass, the sky had opened up, blinding those coming out of the church. A procession of cars left the church following the hearse. Jackie sat beside her father. He was in the passenger seat, with John Boy driving. Peter was in the wrong seat. He was sitting in what should have been her mom's seat. Young Peter should have been driving the 1980 VW Golf, with Michelle sitting where he was presently. Are you all right, love? Said Michelle to the young girl in the back seat, her bathing suit already on, bucket and spade in hand, ready for Britis Bay. But that was not her scene today. Mum was in the wrong car today. As they got to Glasnevin, grey clouds had overtaken the blue sky and a light drizzle had started. John Boy, Rasher and Porrick were pallbearers. Peter had insisted on being the fourth, but when the moment came to carry her from the hearse to the graveside, John Boy could tell a replacement would be needed. John Boy grabbed the closest grown man he could find, who happened to be Gerald Coonan, their primary school headmaster. It became a comical thing in years to come, many accusing John Boy of grabbing Coonan on purpose as some kind of joke. John Boy defended his actions, stating he didn't recognize Coonan in his later years. How did you not recognize him, John Boy? Rasher would ask. He hasn't changed a bit, only his hair got a bit grayer. We know you did it on purpose. Whether John Boy did it on purpose or not, Porrick swore he caught a smile on Peter's face when Coonan's shoulder went under the coffin, with John Boy giving orders to him from behind. After the priest said a few words, they lowered her body and removed the straps. They walked away, leaving Peter and Jackie standing by the open ground. Come on, Dad, said Jackie. Just a moment, love. Okay, said Jackie as she turned to leave. No, stay please. They stood together, Peter holding Jackie's hand tightly, and then it took place. Having no memory of a single tear in her father's eyes up to that point in history, Peter made up for that loss in one moment. He bent over and fell to one knee. Pádraig, seeing this from a distance, turned to head towards him, but John Boyce stopped him. You know what's funny about that story? For those who might be from the, well, let me just say, there was a moment in when after my mom had passed away, we'd gone to the pub after, and I just remember being exhausted and filled with grief because her death was quite sudden, and I went home, and everyone was at the bar, and I was in the house, and the house, which had normally been bursting with 10 people as kids, it was always busy, was just very empty. And the emptiness of the house mixed with the loss of mom, there was this sudden grief that was just felt overbearing. And in that moment, the doorbell rang, and it was my secondary school principal, equivalent to a high school principal, and I hadn't seen him in years, and he did look the same, a little grayer. I had to do a double take because it's like, Mr. Coonan, I mean, this is the principal. Like it kind of took me off guard. But there was something comical in it. It's like he was a gift of all the people. And he said, "Hey, I'm sorry I missed the funeral." Or no, he was at the funeral. He was at my mom and dad's funeral. He had been to the funeral, but he didn't go to the after parts, but wanted to just give. And I said, "Come in," and we sat down. We had our cup of tea, and it was just so lovely. Because I never knew him that well. I was a young fella. It wasn't my high school. It was my primary school. My primary school principal, headmaster, we'd call him, which would be the American equivalent of your elementary and the first part of grammar, middle school, I think. Yeah. So, but I would have seen him around town probably, but I'd left. So at that point, I was 20 years gone. I hadn't seen him in years. So I put a version of him in there. Just seemed to fit. So anyway, that is that. Thank you for listening. I might do the next chapter from this same location because it's quiet.